Alright. One of the main characters of the book, and he's also the author, Mitch, has a lot of life lessons that he's been taught to him, whether it was by his parents or his professor, Morrie. Which life lesson that you've learned that is the most important to you?
My name's Bryant Waite, and I'm 32 years old. And one of the best life lessons I've ever learned is my mom told me to be a leader, not a follower. So she didn't want me to end up like her, working for somebody, hating it for I don't know how many years of her life. And she said the best way to do that is to lead, not follow.
The other main character is Morrie, who is the professor of the author, Mitch, and, well, he is taught as a child and teenager to love and care, and also to learn, because all his mother really cared about was excellence in education. So, do you remember what your mother taught as a life lesson the most, just really towards education?
Towards education, there wasn't a question. I was going to college and getting a degree, no matter how long it took or what it was in, it didn't matter. But my dad didn't go to college, my mom didn't go to college, my grandma didn't go to college, my grandpa didn't go to college. But I was told that I was going, and I was going to graduate. And I do know now the importance of a degree, so I'm glad that I graduated and got mine.
Morrie tends to ignore culture a lot in the book. Would you say you pay attention to the world's culture as today as much, or do you think you ignore it per se, or do you think you pay a lot of attention to it?
As far as culture goes, I've been to a lot of every different state and a lot of different countries, and there's no reason. There's a lot of cultures that are going in different places that you do just for kindness, or because that makes the people feel better. But for most wise culture, especially like here in Mississippi, I never felt like I had to go hunt every weekend and do anything else that people in Mississippi do. So I never put much into culture, except where it becomes part of your politeness, or it helps you get around in a new place, or if it helps you along the way. But as far as conforming and to the culture, I've never thought that was a needed thing. That's more like a sheep. Like my mom said, to be a leader, not a follower.
On the third Tuesday of Tuesdays at Morrie, they talk about regrets and towards memories. Are there many memories that you regret, or are there just very few? And can you explain why you regret them if you do?
Well, if you think about regret, if you regret something, does that mean that you would take it away from your life? If that's the case, then no, I couldn't. Because if I took anything away from my life, I wouldn't be standing here right now in this very exact moment, in this very exact place, and this is where I want to be. So I couldn't take anything away from my life. Otherwise, my life would change. Now, are there things that, if my life could stay the same as it is now, but I could change things? I mean, this is all hypothetical, and you really can't live like that. I went to college for 4 years, dropped out for 4 years, and went back. Yeah, I wish I would have graduated the first time. I made bad grades in high school in my first years of college. Yes, I wish I would have made better grades. But if I change any of that, I have to change my life now. So I don't want that to occur. But what you should take away from regrets is, don't regret, but use, because it doesn't matter, regret or not, you can't change it. So what you do is you take all those things that you regret, or what you call regret, and use them as experience, and use them as a new way to not do it again, to learn from your mistakes. So I would say, instead of regretting something, just use it. Use whatever you regret as a building block and a lesson learned.
In Tuesdays with Morrie, death is a very, very big part in the story. Are there any particular memories in life where death has come up in a close-knit part of your family where it just affected you in some way? And can you explain what you felt?
Well, luckily I haven't, my mom's still alive, my dad's still alive. Most of my close relatives are still alive. I've had an uncle die. The deaths that I can remember that were in my family that were close enough for me to remember, I remember I had an uncle die, and it wasn't that tragic for me, but I can remember all of my family members, and I was younger, but I can remember all of my family members and how tragic it was for them. And then my grandmother died, but with her, we knew it was coming, so I had kind of come to terms with it. It wasn't like a shock. So I think that's a little different. I've been lucky to not have been shocked with a death. But as far as for me, deaths that I've been around and I've seen and that have happened, I've remembered them, but not because they really, 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 really hurt me or affected me. More, I can just see the pain that they happen to other people, and I remember that. And I remember those experiences, and I remember the faces of the people that were at the funerals and with the people